And today's guest is a giant of Australian sport in the sport of cycling, inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame in 2017. Brad McGee, OAM, welcome to Brekkie with Vossy and Brandy. You've got Greg Alexander and Matt Russell this morning. Welcome. Where do we find you?
Greg, Matt, well, thank you, firstly. I'm here at home in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales, so just out of Sydney, just looking out at a very frosty morning. And I've got a few animals out there. I'll be looking forward to their breakfast after this.
Brad, how long is it since you've been a cyclist yourself, and what are you doing now?
Well, we like to say once a cyclist, always a cyclist.
True.
But competitively, I retired just after the Beijing Olympics. And then moved straight into what we call sports directing into the professional ranks. So that's back in 2008.
When you are once a cyclist, always a cyclist, how much time do you spend on a bike these days, Brad? And I bet you don't see another famous Southern Highlands resident on your travels, the one and only Andrew Voss. I'm tipping he's nowhere near a bike as you buzz around the Southern Highlands.
Oh, I'll have to have a look. Mostly coffee shop rides these days, so you never know. There's a chance. I get out mostly. I like the gravel bike, the mountain bike, off the roads, just out enjoying the wilderness, really.
Well, it is great timing talking to you now because we've got the Tour de France underway. I think we're through 10 stages in that, and we've got the Olympics coming up. So you were a great Olympian for Australia. You won gold medals. You also won stages at the Tour de France. Take us right back to the beginning. And look, I think we all rode bikes. As kids, we all rode bikes.
Yeah.
What made you think that this is what I want to do? I want to ride bikes. I want to ride them for a long way, and I want to ride really fast.
Well, you take me. I was a BMX bandit, like many of my era. After school, out playing chasing, trying to jump gutters. I'm the youngest of four boys, so we're in everything. BMX riding, cricket, tennis, water skiing, everything. Had to go at everything. But it's actually a bit of a funny story because we watched the 1984 Olympics on the telly in our Sydney home out in the west there near Parramatta. And I'll never forget watching the men's team pursuit race in the 84 LA Games. And the Aussies, the underdogs, went in against the mighty American force who were almost unbeatable on paper. And lo and behold, the little Aussies, with a bit of fortune, the American team lost a member in the first few seconds from a pulled foot, famously. And the Aussies got up the gold medal. Never forget it. It was the big bang moment for my Olympic career.
Okay.
But at the time, cyclists. Yeah. We weren't cyclists at all.
Right. Okay. But you just loved riding a bike. And I went through, I had a look at those names, and those names ring true to, like, I remember watching it too, Brad. I remember watching that pursuit final, Michael Grender, Kevin Nichols, Michael Turner, Dean Woods. Now, great Aussie names. And we've had some great Aussie cyclists over the years, haven't we? And we're rattling off some of our Tour de France cyclists. Cadel Evans, who of course won it. Simon Gerrans, Robbie McEwen, Stuart O'Grady. Did you fit into general classification, or were you a sprinter?
Ooh. No, by the time it came to the Tour de France for me, I was either helping the sprinters, so a lead-out man, helping famously Baden Cook get up to the green sprinters jersey in 2003. So my job was to deliver him into the sprint zone, but I also had a pretty good hand at the time trials, so managed to get up in the prologue in the Tour de France. Basically, we used to get in early, try to get some runs on the board, and then just hang on for dear life to try to survive Paris.
Okay,
my tactic.
Right. So one of your stage wins was the time trial. Now you didn't pull over and
first day. Yeah.
You didn't pull over and kiss your wife on the way through, did you?
No. I would have. My dear wife Shani, a great supporter, but we're quite busy doing those prologues. But no, you get if you go right, so you get that after the stage. You have to be a bit strategic.
Well, Brad, Greg still spends time on a bike, and we were talking the other day about bike riding, and you mentioned, can you remember your first bike? Can you remember the first one? BMX?
Yeah, I was BMX.
Brand?
I was BMX.
Malvern Star?
I think it was a Mongoose.
Well, now that's where I was going.
Yeah, Mongoose.
Silver Mongoose was the bee's knees when I was coming through. You mentioned that you started as a BMX bandit, Brad. What was your first bike?
Put the footy card with a peg in the back spokes to make it sound like yeah, that was great.
Oh, that's it. It's great
I
when you
had
can relate.
youngest of 4 boys. Lo and behold, every other Christmas, my old man or Father Christmas used to spray paint what looked like a very similar bike, and that was the first bike for the 4 McGee boys.
Hey, Brad, you mentioned that you watched the 1984 team's pursuit and were inspired by that. 20 years
Absolutely.
down the line, at the birth of the modern Olympics in Athens, the 2004 Games, there you were as a gold medalist yourself in the team's pursuit.
Well, that was the crazy thing.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, I had no idea that cycling was going to be my future. And right there, got to fly the flag for Australia and do my bit with the boys, and we got up again in 04. That was fantastic. Yeah, big highlight.
Yeah, incredible stuff. And the 2004 Olympics were good for Australia. The cycling team in the velodrome, that was Anna Mears. Anna Mears won a gold medal during that time. Ryan Bailey won the sprint and
the
Madison. The Kieran.
The Kieran.
Kieran,
yeah.
Now something. So I watch every 4 years, but then by the time the next 4 year rolls around, I forget what the Kieran and the Madison, what you have to actually do. I know you have to finish first, but it's very strategic, isn't it?
Well, the Madison's the crazy one. Graham Brown and Stuart O'Grady got up in 04. That's the 2-person event. So we've got both men's and women's. Actually, a really, really hot chance in the women's race coming up in Paris. And that's a longer endurance event. So they go around, they hand sling each other in every couple of laps, sprint every 10. And it is really high speed, high demand, strategically, tactically important, to have those skills. That's a really big endurance event, where the Kieran is where they go behind the motorbike for a few laps. Motorbike peels off, and then it's this almighty sprint. So that's for the big boys and girls. That's a real sprint power event. Yeah. And Ryan Bailey was just on fire during those Olympics.
Yeah.
Brad, remind us how the Australian cycling team felt about the Tokyo Olympic performance and how it feels in anticipation for Paris in comparison.
Sure. So there's some big hopes coming into Paris. I think most in the game recognise that the world's caught up. You know, the competition level across the Olympic cycling events is very, very competitive. A lot of the old school countries, like the European countries, are coming back in force, but they may have tapered off for a couple of cycles there. Potentially more interest in the professional ranks on the road in particular. But it is hot. So any chance of a medal, any chance of success is highly rated. Although I think we've tethered our expectations that we can go and clean sweep like we did in Athens. I think those days are over for any nation, and then just recognising how competitive it is. So there's still some really good medal chances going into Paris, spread right across from BMX to road and track, and both disciplines on the track, power and endurance. So there's big hopes, but we need to tether those expectations.
Now, of course, technology has affected most sports, and technology, I'm guessing, Brad, plays a big part in cycling. And I was reading about the 84 team, and the Americans apparently had this bike that was worth $40,000 back in 1984. So, the evolution of the bike from the time that 84 through to what we have now.
Yeah, and it's a constant battle, bit of a big battle across the bigger teams with big budgets. I'd actually, my personal view is we need to spend more time working on our physical selves, the way we position ourselves on the bike, because there's, at the end of the day, the body's bigger than the bike. I think it's a wrong path to go, to put so much time, effort and money into producing these bikes, where we could probably do better producing better humans on and off the bike. That's just my personal view. There's been some shout-outs to potentially try to, manage that across so it's a bit of an even playing field. But I don't think that gets too much traction. And I just think, at the end of the day, it's the body and the mind that's pushing those pedals around. Yes, we need good equipment, but I don't think we need to put that in front of people development. So, you'll see some crazy things in Paris every year. I think it's a little bit like the teams come out with something crazier to try to get the mental edge on their opposition. And I just encourage the Aussies to go in there and go, they've got good bikes and they're good enough to get the job done. At the end of the day, it's going to come back to themselves.
Brad, are you going to the Olympics? Will you be heading across there?
No. I'm actually first time ever. I was planning to watch the Olympic Games. Sorry, after the Tour de France. Since I was a kid, since I was in high school. I've played a part in all Olympics, apart from London. Actually, I was in professional ranks during London ever since that Barcelona era where it really started to hot up. But I've actually picked up a commentary gig with the ABC. I'm really looking forward to it on the radio. And it's going to be exciting for me. It's going to be a new adventure. I'm actually quite nervous. You think, wow, you're the expert. What do you know? I don't know. What do I know? So I've been doing a little bit of research, getting back in the game. My focus these days is I'm a coach developer, coach advisor. I work across all sports at the New South Wales Institute of Sport. So a little bit less in cycling since Tokyo. So I've been getting the books out again and doing a little bit of homework. Really looking forward to it, though.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
How hard is it, Brad, to go between track cycling and road racing? Plenty do it. Not all of them do it well.
Yeah.
How much is it chalk and cheese, or how much is it pretty similar?
So it's interesting comment there, Matt. Like in my day, in 04, my 6 colleagues, 4 of my 6 colleagues who we got up in that men's team pursuit were all professional road riders at the Tour de France level. It was almost expected, almost needed. These days, you find 1 or 2 out of the main teams have that capacity. So it's becoming less and less. The demands at both the track and the road are becoming so specific. The team pursuit event, let's put this in context. We broke the world record in 3 minutes, 56 seconds in Athens. And now, repetitively, the top teams are going 10 to 12 seconds quicker in that 4-minute bout. It's insane. It's mind-blowing. So you can imagine the power and the speed needed these days to produce those performances. They're a different animal. It's a different beast that's pushing those bikes around, and it takes a lot more time in the gym and takes a lot more time doing that power work. Therefore, crossing over from road to track is becoming almost impossible.
Wow. Jeremy says on the text line, Brad, remember when Brad wore the yellow jersey in the Tour de France? Does he have that jersey mounted?
I borrowed it.
That's all right.
Sorry.
You borrowed it, so you don't get to keep. So even if you at some stage wear the yellow jersey, they don't at the end of the race. They don't say, "Well, here's your replica," or "Here's your yellow jersey."
I actually do, and it's really nice just to be able to hand that out. I've got one in the pool room in the gym.
Yeah. All right.
But really, there was never any sense that I'd be holding that one through Paris. But to have 2 or 3 days,
so what do you gauge as your what do you think is your best achievement? 5 gold medals. Commonwealth gold medals. You've won World Championship gold. You've won Olympic gold. You've won tour stages in the Tour de France. What do you place as your best? Because you've won individual events, golds, and you've also won team events.
Yeah, and it's the team events that really stand out for me. In particular, the men's team pursuit in Athens. That was for the boys, for our team, for our families, and for Australia. I'll go right back. That was paying my end back into, the buzz I got in '84. I really like to think that, we were able to offer that to the Australians in 2004. And then the other one is the Tour de France yellow jersey. Why? I'd spent 10 years with La Française des Jeux. It was a Paris start, it's a Paris team, still exists in the pro circuit, FDJ under Marc Madio. And it became my second family. And it was like a real